Hello everyone. Welcome to Wally channel. Today is March 8th, International Women's Day. Do you know the origin of this day? In this episode, I would like to talk about the history and some interesting facts related to International Women's Day. Before we start the program, we would like to encourage you to subscribe to our channel. This way, you can be the first to receive our latest videos and content, not missing out on any valuable information and interactive opportunities. At the same time, you can also support our program production and continuous development. Thank you very much. Today, I would like to share with you the topic of International Women's Day. As an important international festival, International Women's Day not only celebrates women's rights and achievements but also reminds us of the gender discrimination and inequality that still exist. For this year's International Women's Day, many countries have shifted their celebrations to virtual and online activities due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. However, since International Women's Day is not a public holiday worldwide, the dates and ways of celebrations may vary from country to country. Also, this year's activities may differ from previous ones due to various factors including the pandemic. Here are some examples of celebrations in different countries. United States. The U.S. government and several non-governmental organizations hosted a series of online forums and events to discuss the challenges and opportunities modern women face and encourage more women to participate in politics and the economy. India. The Indian government launched an event called Progressive Women, Progressive Country, to raise awareness of women's rights and equality and recognize women's contributions to national development. China. The China Women's Development Foundation organized an online event titled Unity, Progress and a New Era, to recognize women who contributed to society and family during the pandemic and encourage more women to participate in social and economic development. United Nations. UN Women organized an event called Choose to Challenge, to encourage more women to participate in political and economic decision-making and work towards eliminating gender discrimination and inequality. Overall, various countries have recognized women's contributions through different forms of activities, encouraged more women to participate in social and economic development, and worked towards eliminating gender discrimination and inequality for this year's International Women's Day. Let's share some interesting figures. According to World Bank data from 2020, the country with the lowest percentage of females in the population is the United Arab Emirates, with females making up approximately 30.8% of the total population. On the other hand, the country with the highest percentage of females in the population is Latvia, with females making up approximately 54.7% of the total population. It is important to note that these percentages reflect the gender composition of the entire population, and not necessarily the gender ratio at birth or in specific age groups. According to the World Bank, as of 2021, the global sex ratio at birth is 1.05 males per female. This means that on average, there are slightly more boys born than girls. However, in terms of the total population, there are slightly more females than males due to longer female life expectancies. As of 2021, the estimated global female population is approximately 3.8 billion, accounting for around 49.6% of the world's total population. Now, let us review the origin of International Women's Day. According to Wikipedia, the earliest International Women's Day can be traced back to 1910 when a woman named Clara Zetkin from the United States proposed this idea on March 8. She hoped to hold a global event on this day to commemorate those who fought for women's rights. This idea received widespread support from the international community, and since then, March 8 has been designated as International Women's Day. In the same year, at the International Socialist Women's Conference held in Copenhagen, Denmark, women delegates from different countries decided to make March 8 as International Women's Day to commemorate the historical events in the late 19th century when women in Europe and America fought for equal rights. Since then, International Women's Day has become an important festival for the international women's movement. Next, let's talk about the development of International Women's Day in China. According to reports from China Civilization Network, China's International Women's Day originated in 1924 when Sun Daolin, a member of the Chinese Nationalist Party's Women's Department, proposed that March 8 be designated as China's Women's Day, to commemorate women's fighting spirit and independence. Since then, China has held celebrations every March 8 to recognize women's contributions in the family, society, and country. In addition to its origin, there are many interesting stories and events related to International Women's Day. For example, in 1932, Chinese women's rights activist Song Qingling introduced International Women's Day to China and established the Chinese International Women's Federation. Furthermore, International Women's Day is widely celebrated and commemorated in countries such as Vietnam and Russia. Moreover, many women have carried out intense struggles and courageous actions to fight for equal rights. For example, the 1911 Women's Suffrage Parade in the United States and the 1975 protest by Australian women on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. These protests not only made women's voices heard but also garnered more attention and support for women's rights and status. Through these stories and events, we have gained a deeper understanding of the history and background of International Women's Day. They demonstrate the efforts and contributions of women in the fight for equality and participation in social development. Therefore, as we celebrate International Women's Day, we should also respect and appreciate everyone who strives for women's rights. Let us work together to create a more just and equal society. However, we must also face the problems in reality. According to a report by BBC Chinese, gender discrimination and inequality towards women still exist globally, even today. For example, many countries still face issues of sexual violence, wage inequality, and workplace discrimination. These problems require our collective efforts to eliminate gender discrimination and inequality through education, promotion, and the establishment of laws. Furthermore, let us not forget that women play a special role during the pandemic. According to Hua20net, women have played an important role in taking care of their families, children, purchasing essential goods, and serving as medical staff during the pandemic. In this special period, women have not only demonstrated their courage and perseverance but also contributed to the development of society. Therefore, as we celebrate International Women's Day, we should also thank and praise those women who have fought for themselves, their families, and society. We should respect everyone's rights and contributions and work together to eliminate gender discrimination and inequality. Finally, I would like to conclude with a famous quote: "Women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights." I hope that on this International Women's Day, everyone can continue to pay attention to and support women's rights and achievements. Let us work together to create a more equal and better society. Please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Before our YouTube program comes to an end, we hope to remind everyone to subscribe to our channel. We also welcome your feedback in the comment section, so that we can better understand your needs and opinions, and improve the quality of our program. We also encourage you to share our program and content with your friends and community, so that more people can benefit from our content. Thank you very much.